Luc Berthold. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Allow me to reread the motion that we're debating here that was tabled by my colleague. That, following the public statement of March 6th by Ms. Jody Wilson-Raybould offering to provide more information to Canadians should it be requested, the committee requests that she appear no later than Thursday, March 14th. Now, it's a simple motion, Mr. Chairman, and it's something we've heard called for over the past few weeks from people we've met with, from commentators as well. Why has Ms. Wilson-Raybould been prevented from providing her version of the events that have led us to be here today? Now, there's an attempt to imply that nothing happened, that it was routine and that differences in perception exist. Mr. Chairman, that's not what happened. What happened was there were resignations. One was demoted. The primary principal secretary to the Prime Minister resigned. And this has taken on such a scope that confidence in the Prime Minister has been shaken. Why not hear from Ms. Wilson-Raybould again? Because she herself said that she didn't have an opportunity to say everything. She said that she was limited on February 27th, that certain aspects couldn't be discussed. And I'd like to reiterate that in the letter that she wrote on the 26th, where she talked about the evidence she would provide the next day, she was told that she had a limited waiver, and it said it doesn't allow me, and I'm quoting from the letter, to disclose the content of communications while I was Minister of Veterans Affairs, nor with respect to my resignation from the position. And, Mr. Speaker, the letter also says that it doesn't free me from restrictions to speak freely about events that allow me to speak freely about the events that occurred following my time as Attorney General. Now, if Minister Wilson-Raybould is saying that she can't talk about the events that unfolded following her leaving the Attorney General's position, it's that there are events, incidents that occurred, and coincidentally, we heard other people talk about those very same events. Mr. Butts, Mr. Trudeau has also referred to the events following that date in January. But unfortunately, Ms. Wilson-Raybould said in her letter of February 26th that she wasn't in a position because the Order in Council did not allow her to do so. Allow me to go back to what she said on the 27th when she was questioned by my question, Lisa Raitt. And I'll quote the excerpts from that evidence. The Honourable Lisa Raitt. For clarity, could you tell us what you discussed during your meetings in Vancouver on February 11th? The reply from the Honourable Jody Wilson-Raybould. I cannot. Another question from the Honourable Lisa Raitt. Can you tell us why you resigned from Cabinet? The answer from Ms. Wilson-Raybould. I cannot. Another question by Ms. Raitt. Can you tell us what was discussed at Cabinet on the 19th of February? Answer from Ms. Wilson-Raybould. I cannot. Another question that will show that Ms. Wilson-Raybould was prepared to speak. Ms. Raitt. If you cannot provide, or if it were lifted and you were able to be released from privilege, would you be prepared to come back before committee and to testify again? The answer from Ms. Wilson-Raybould, yes. So it's clear, it's very clear that Ms. Wilson-Raybould has other comments to make, things to say, and people would prefer her not to do so. And it's clear that at this point, there are people who are prepared to enable Ms. Wilson-Raybould to provide the truth on the situation, how she experienced them.
It would be very easy for the Prime Minister to tell the members of his caucus that, yes, we will allow the committee to hear from Ms. Wilson-Raybould, and Canadians will have access to the full truth told by Ms. Wilson-Raybould. I don't think it's acceptable for people to have things said about them when they're not able to deliver testimony themselves about those exact events. Mr. Chair, there are a number of details which are currently not known, which are hidden, which are unavailable to us, and many people are trying to prevent us from having access to that. For a week now, I've been traveling all across Canada, speaking to people in my riding and elsewhere, and they want to hear Ms. Wilson-Raybould's truth. So, given that this committee has allowed some aspects of this to come to light, why would the committee not allow Ms. Wilson-Raybould to come back and testify? I think that the Prime Minister needs to give a clear authorization to committee members to allow Ms. Wilson-Raybould to give her full version of the truth and to make that truth known to all Canadians. I think it's important, and that's why I will be supporting this motion. Now, if the Prime Minister has nothing to hide, he shouldn't fear Ms. Wilson-Raybould's testimony. Thank you.
Mr. Berthold,
Thank you very much, Mr. Berthold. Just want to mention to committee members, you quoted Mr. Poilievre's motion, but we actually amended it to say, notwithstanding the committee's decision from March 6th. So I just wanted to clarify that. I agree, Mr. Chair. I just didn't have the updated version of the motion. Of course. I just want to make sure that everyone knows exactly what we're discussing. Mr. Drouin.